Welcome to the Audience Converter Podcast, the podcast for converting your audience from strangers to loyal fans. We dive deep and discuss how entrepreneurs, consultants, and coaches can level up their business to help more people in the world. Now here's your host, the creator of the Audience Conversion Method, Kimberly Whitecamp.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Audience Converter Podcast. I am your host, conversion copywriter and marketing strategist, Kimberly Whitecamp. And today, of course, we have another really exciting episode in which I am going to be answering some top questions that I get from my clients and randomly see out in the quote-unquote wild. It's a chance for any of my listeners to send me questions if you have questions about marketing your business or building your dream life using tactics in marketing. That's what I'm here for. So today I'm going to be talking about one of these newer marketing tactics that I'm a big proponent of, and I've been getting a lot of questions here lately about, launching and how should I launch and what should I do about my launch. And so today I am so excited to be talking about the no launch method for growing your business and why launches aren't for everyone. Just a quick reminder, I host these Ask Me Anything episodes at least once a month. And if you want your questions featured on a future episode of the Audience Converter Podcast, go ahead and reach out at contact@theaudienceconverter.com. Remember to put AMA question in the subject line and give me your name, your business website, and your question. And if I choose your question, you will get a shout out on the show. And this is what that means. I am going to list your name, list your business, and give your business website a link as well. And of course, you'll get an answer to your question. And this gives you a little bit of an SEO boost. You get answers to your marketing questions about your business. And a lot of listeners from around the world get to hear about you and what you do as well. So today we're diving into, as I said, a no launch method for growing your business. So here lately, especially, I've been getting a lot of questions about, what all does it take to launch? How can I make my launch better? What does it take to launch? And here's the thing. I'm not even going to be covering all of the different things that you need to have in place for your launch, because here's why. A while ago, actually, I created a checklist because I work on a lot of launches, and launches are great for some people, right? I work on a lot of launches. And so one of the things I found was that people would get to launch day and realize that they were missing something. They would find out that, they had an email that needed to go out and they didn't have it written, or maybe they forgot a step in setting up the tech. So what I did was I created the ultimate launch checklist, basically. And all it was is a list of all of the pieces of copy, not even the technology, but all of the pieces of copy that you need to put in place in order for your launch to be a success. And it covers everything, right? It's not just about opening the cart or saying people, hey, you can go buy something now. It covers the entire launch process. So that's the 2 to 4 weeks before the launch, how you're getting people in. It covers the launch itself, when you open the cart, all of that kind of stuff. And it also covers the post-launch, both the communication you're going to have with all the new people on your list who didn't buy, and also the people who did buy, and then leading them into becoming a participant in your course or product. So I created this checklist as a really easy, at a glance, okay, what am I missing type thing. And, checklists, it's a single line per, it's not very fancy. There's not a lot of formatting to it. And this checklist is 4 pages long. That is a lot of copy, okay? That is an insane amount of copy. And here's the thing when it comes to launches. They take about 3 to 6 months to plan out. Now, for some people, they're like, oh, but it's just a couple of emails. How can it take that long? And what people don't realize and why launches are such a huge undertaking is because there's so many different moving pieces. Like, for example, if you're going to use Facebook ads to direct people and drive traffic to you, you need to create the Facebook ad. You need to create a couple variations for the Facebook ad for you to test. You need to create a couple pieces of creative, which is like the image or the video that is on your Facebook ad so people can see that. You need to create the links, of course, to go to a landing page. Then you need to create the landing page where people are going to go from the Facebook ad. Most likely that landing page is going to give something away, like a guide or a checklist or a free video series, whatever it is. So you need not only the landing page, but at least the one piece of content, like a guide or a checklist. Or if it's more than that, if it's like a series of videos, you need to write the scripts for the videos, you need to create the videos, you need to make the videos, you need a web page to have the videos live on so people can go and look at those videos and then see any copy around it. You need the confirmation emails to make sure people do want to hear from you, so that double opt-in. If you don't know what that means, that just means, if people sign up for something, then you have to have them take an extra step, like click a button to make sure that they want to hear from you. To comply with a lot of different laws around the world. So you need a confirmation email. Then, of course, you need an email to deliver whatever it is they asked for. So an email saying, here's your checklist, here's your guide, here's how you access those videos, whatever. And we haven't even gotten to anything but getting somebody on your list. So going from a Facebook ad to get them onto your list, I think I just listed off like 7 or 9 pieces of content, which is a lot for you to put together. And that is only step 1. That is only like the very, very first step for people to get onto your list during a launch. So it's a huge, huge undertaking. And this is why launches aren't for everyone. There's so many moving pieces that it's hard to keep track of everything, especially if you're a solopreneur. So I know a lot of listeners out there, we do it all ourselves, right? We don't have a huge team behind us. There's us and me, myself, and I, right? So when talking about like setting up a launch, right? Do you understand Facebook ads? Do you understand the technology for building your landing page? Do you understand the technology for delivering the content that you're going to promise? Are you a videographer to create those videos? Do you have the webinar software to deliver a webinar? All of these different things, they require somebody who knows what they're doing, because if something breaks, if something goes wrong, especially during a specific period of time, like a launch where you only have, 5 days to get somebody from where they are to where they need to be to invest in your program, it's a huge amount of work for you. And even if you do have a team, it's a huge undertaking in time and money, right? It can cost thousands and thousands of dollars to set up a launch if you're going to do it properly. And that is such a large project for people, especially when you're first starting out. Like if you're, 6 months into business, you have your product, that's wonderful. But getting all of that in place, getting everything organized, getting everything doing what you need it to do, it's a huge, huge task. And it's really, really difficult for somebody who doesn't have any help to set all of that up, to understand every single step of the way. So, launches aren't for everyone because it depends really on where you are in your business. It depends on where you are in your business, and it also depends on kind of where your audience is and their understanding of you and who you are. So if you have, a brand new business, but you're attracting people who know everything about your industry and all they're looking for is price comparison, launches aren't necessarily a great fit for that. Plus, if you have people who are newer, who don't have that kind of background, who don't know all of the information there is to know about you and your product and your industry and your solution, then they need a lot of education in order to move them to the place where they're ready to talk to you. So there's this huge gap between launching and converting your audience, and trying to move people from, hey, I've got a new thing, I'm going to get you onto my list, and then are you ready to work with me on a really deep level in 5 to 10 days on a regular average launch? That's a huge gap to cover in a very short amount of time. And here's the thing, when we're talking about people who are looking for solutions at any one time, Statistics, of course, can always be interpreted in different ways. So keep that in mind. But in general, 3% of your audience at any one time is looking to buy. That's it. 3%. 3% of people are actively in that stage of give me a buy button. I'm going to click it because I'm ready now. Most people are way earlier in the process. So if you get somebody in who's like, ooh, I'm interested in that idea of, having a launch checklist, even, for example, they're interested in getting knowledge. They are one particular stage of being ready to work with you, but they're not there yet. And the idea that, we're going to only open the doors to work with us on a deeper level once a year, in my mind, is a little bit crazy. So think about it this way, right? Let's go outside of the world of online marketing. Let's talk about contractors, right? Contractors, if you're unfamiliar with the term, or handyman, people who do small building projects around your house, right? They might build a deck, they might replace your entire kitchen, they might just paint your walls, they might hang a new door, they might fix a couple holes in the walls. They do a range of things from small projects around your house to full kitchen renovations. Okay. So if that contractor says, okay, I'm only going to accept new projects 2 weeks a year, but they put all of their time, money, and resources into that 2-week period. So they take out money for ads on TV and ads on the radio, and they put up flyers at the library, and they spend all of this money to get all of these new people who might be ready to work with a contractor in a 2-week period. But then, maybe that 2-week period is in November, and no one wants to redo their bathroom in November because they're about to have a swarm of people in their house for family holidays and get-togethers. So they don't want a bathroom out of commission. And it's really cold outside, at least if you live in North America and my neck of the woods. So it's cold outside. Maybe it's snowing, or maybe it is 80 degrees if you live in Missouri like I do, and it's a little bit crazy. But you're probably not going to have nice warm weather, and you have the potential for snow. So creating a deck outside is a bad idea that late in the year, because then maybe you can't seal it or you don't have the time to actually build it properly. So people aren't going to reach out during that 2-week period in November. It's just not a good fit for them. Not to say that they wouldn't if it were an emergency, but in that community, 2 weeks, nobody's interested. Well, what is that person supposed to do? Are they not going to have any work for the rest of the year? And that is kind of what happens if you are using a launch method. You're putting all of your money, your ad money, your creative money, your marketing material money, everything at once into this 2-week period in which you're going to get a ton of people to know who you are and what you do, and have them ready to work with you. Now, it could be in January, it's a new tax year, people are excited and they're ready to renovate that bathroom. Or it's May and there was a freak freeze and the pipes burst and there's a hole in the ceiling that needs to be fixed, right? Those are great times for somebody to be like, all right, I need a contractor. Or, if somebody's like, I don't really like to do the small little handyman thing. So, in spring and in fall, I check my house. If I have any projects, I make a list and I want to hire somebody. So I'm looking for somebody that I can, just have in my back pocket, right, and call up. That's another great customer to have who wants to work with you in a long-term solution. But if you only let people know about what you do 2 weeks out of the year, you spend all of your advertising and marketing budget for a 2-week period, you only accept new people, you only bring new people in, you only raise awareness about what you do for 2 weeks, then all of those other projects, they never come to you because you're not open. And in the online marketing world, that's kind of what we're doing when we say, okay, I'm going to do a launch and I'm going to get everyone in and everyone's going to learn about me. And then they have to be ready to work with me in 2 weeks or nothing else. Because here's the thing. A lot of us, there's a lot of trainings out there about how to get new leads, how to get leads into your business, how to lower the cost of acquiring leads, how to launch. But a lot of people get all those new leads, those new names, those new interested people into their list, and they don't talk to them. They're on your list now. They are interested in what you have to say, but that's it. No one else reaches out to these people until they have something else to sell. And that is not really a great relationship. It's not a way to build a community, to build a relationship and a rapport with your long-term customers who want to keep coming back for more and more. So when people focus on a launch, it takes a lot of mental energy, it's a lot of stress, it's a lot of money and time. And then people kind of get what they call launch burnout, which is, you've done all of this time and prep and put all of your energy into this 2-week period in your business, and it's happened and it's done, and you're exhausted and you don't have the energy or the time or the mental bandwidth even to provide a really great experience to not only the people who just signed up to work with you, but also those people who said, yes, I'm interested in learning more. I'm just not ready to take that next step. So it becomes this cycle of huge investments of time and energy, and then, kind of being exhausted and not able to help your people. And that I don't think is the right way to be building a business. And it's not the way, people on Etsy or a doctor's office or a contractor or a brick and mortar store, none of those people operate that way. So I want to change the conversation and how you can structure your business for long-term success. And the missing key to your marketing mix, right? You're not one launch away. Okay, you're not one launch away from building this huge business, because if you don't have the energy and the time and the resources to continue to work with people after that 2-week period, you're not going to build those long-term relationships. So for long-term success, the missing key to your marketing mix is having a marketing strategy that is in place, that talks to people at the right time with the right message, and that you are able to do. So a lot of people talk about, oh, yes, you need to create a strategy, you need to create a strategy, you need to create a strategy. But most of those strategies are dependent on one particular platform, whether that's Facebook or podcasting or social media of any kind, or making sure that you're going to go to networking events. It's one particular channel or medium. And what I want to talk about is a way to structure your business for long-term success that's not dependent on a particular channel. Because here's the thing, most likely your people are in a lot of different places. And if you chase the one shiny object over here, which might be called Facebook or might be called video or might be called something else, then you're leaving a lot of opportunity. So I'm going to talk about something called the audience conversion method. That's what I use. That's why this show is called the Audience Converter Podcast. It's all about the audience conversion method. And it's pretty simple, right? It's know your audience. Audience is step number 1. Know what they're asking. Ask is step number 2. Audit your materials. So know how easy it is for people to find the information they're looking for. Answer your audience's questions. Answer is number 4. And then, of course, action. Take action is number 5. That is creating a schedule that you can stick to. Now, that's a really brief overview of what the audience conversion method is. But here's the thing. It's pretty straightforward. And if you use the framework properly, you can create your next 12 months of marketing strategy. And when I say strategy, it's not about, oh, I'm going to go live on Facebook 5 times a week, or I'm going to start publishing a podcast once a week. It's not just that. What it is also builds in how you're interacting with your audience, how you're going to make sure to get all of these things done and in a time frame that you can actually do, and so that you're on top of your marketing and not always scrambling for an idea. When you take the logistics first approach, when you say, I'm going to go live on Facebook 5 times a week, it doesn't take into account who you're talking to, what you're going to talk about, what you're going to ask people who want you to do next. All of those things need to be in place, and you need to know them before you go live. Because if you go live and you don't have an idea about any of that information, then what are you giving? What is your value? What are people going to get from that interaction? Because if you just say, okay, hey, I'm going live, it's time, I'm ready, and you get on Facebook and you're like, what do I say? Oh, well, I guess I could talk about like the dangers of not getting enough sleep, because, maybe you're a health and wellness person and you're all about how sleep is the key to living a long life. Okay, then what next? Dangers about not getting enough sleep. Well, after they hear that or after they watch that live, what's the next step? Are they going to sign up for your email list? Is it time do you have a gift to give them? Do you want them to watch another video you've done in the past? When you approach marketing as I need to do X, but without a strategy or a plan in place, then you're not providing the best experience for your customers, and you're making it more difficult for yourself to get your marketing in place. And that's the difference with audiences today, especially after everything that we've been through these last few months. A lot more people are online. They're spending a lot more time on the different channels where you can put your marketing out, and they know the way it works now. They're getting wise. They're understanding that if they sign up to somebody's list, they're going to get materials. So you want to realize that it's not about that short-term gain. It's not about I need to get X number of people on my list so that I can get X number of sales within the next 2 weeks so that I can say I had a 6-figure launch and then I don't have to worry about making business money in my business for the rest of the year. Because people can tell that that's your plan. And they realize if that's the approach you're taking, they're like, well, is this person really invested in my success, or is it all about building a business? And there's such a large amount of noise out there in the online world today. I mean, there's so many different webinars you can take and, free gifts you can get and videos you can get. So when you take the approach of, well, how can I help my audience? Who is my audience? I know my audience. I know my topic. I know the next step they need to take. And I'm creating all of this material around how I can help my audience so I can build a long-term relationship with them, so I can build a community around what I do. Then you create that long-term business model. Then you create a great experience for your clients. You take a lot of stress off of you. And you know what it is you're going to do next so that you're never asking those questions of, well, what am I doing today? And I'm so excited because I have a great training coming up. If you're listening to this today, it's on Wednesday. But if you're listening to this after the launch date of this particular episode of the podcast, you will still be able to access the replay. And it's called Ditch the Launch, the missing key to your marketing mix. So I mentioned those different parts of the audience conversion method. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into it on this training and give you another method, give you an alternative to a once a year flash in the pan, make or break moment with a launch, and instead getting a strategy in place that's really going to help you build your business in a sustainable way that doesn't freak you out. So you can go and sign up theaudienceconverter.com/missing-key-ditch-launch. And of course, all of that information is also in the show notes. You can just go ahead and click real fast. I want to thank you again for listening to today's episode about the no launch method and why launches don't work for everyone in the entrepreneurial world. If you're interested in being highlighted on a future episode of an Ask Me Anything, please contact me at contact@theaudienceconverter.com. Remember, keep calm and carry on.
Thanks for listening to the Audience Converter Podcast. For more information and important links about today's show or for access to our website, visit theaudienceconverter.com. Take a moment to rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.